Hello again, and welcome back to Granny Dorothy Visits. Today's topic is release karmic conditioning. And the first reading is from Louise Hay's book, Everyday Positive Thinking. And this quote is from Deepak Chopra. To be successful in your chosen career or work endeavor, you must release any present karmic conditioning that declares, I can't do this. You can. And the next one, I'm only going to do two today because this is a long one. It's from Wayne Dyer's book, Excuses Be Gone. It's the new word on beliefs is how he titles this. Have you ever wanted to change some facet of your personality, but another part of you insisted that this is impossible because your genetic programming is responsible for how you think, feel, and behave? That latter part of you believes in biologically determined unhappy genes, shy genes, fat genes, and bad luck genes, among many others. Due to your luck of the draw, it will tell you you have a set of misery genes, along with a sizable cache of weight-gaining genes. If those are the aspects you want to change, this part means to be helpful. But while it probably wants to protect you from the disappointment of failure, it keeps you stuck in an excuse-driven life. Using the excuse of genetic programming not to do anything about the personal characteristics that you dislike is popular and clearly acceptable in today's culture. So, using the aforementioned genetic predisposition as a rationalization, living in constant and unnecessary terror might be explained as you're having an overabundance of fear cells, which you're stuck with. Thus, a formidable excuse is formulated. No wonder a part of you gets indignant when you attempt to be brave, since it believes, I can't change my biology. A sense of powerlessness ensues when it comes to altering anything about yourself that has become so established that it feels like who you are. This is particularly true when you observe traits and characteristics that have been with you for as long as you can recall, as if to further cement the idea that you've always been this way into your total worldview. The limiting part of you asserts, there's nothing that can be done about it. After all, I can't change my basic biology. Excuse me, thanks to the principles I share in this book, you most certainly can. The belief that we cannot change our biology is beginning to be challenged by scientific scholars engaged in cell biology research. It seems that humans do have the ability to change and even reverse some of their genetic blueprints. Openness and curiosity, along with a desire to be free from excuses, are the basic prerequisites for learning about the exciting evidence concerning genetic predisposition. One of the pioneers of the new way of understanding DNA, Bruce Lipton, PhD, is a cell biologist who taught medical students before resigning to do research and lecture full-time. In a groundbreaking book called The Biology of Belief, Lipton writes that life is not controlled by genes. In fact, his research led him to the conclusion that they're strictly blueprints. The invisible, formless energy that constitutes the gene's environment is the architect that turns the blueprint into this mystery we call life. Listing hundreds of research results, he concludes that the old medical model depicting life's essential building blocks as physical particles is misleading, incomplete, and in most cases, false. Treating illness more or less exclusively with drugs or surgery to facilitate a healing begs to be re-examined. Lipton's conclusions led to his resignation from the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine because he discovered that what he'd been teaching, the model of physical particles as the controlling force in life, was incorrect. He realized that both the human body and the universe itself are mental and spiritual in nature. There's a field of invisible energy with a total absence of physical properties that creates the particles that we call cells. And this invisible field is the sole governing function of the body. So, since the body is not exclusively a physical machine, we can all find out how to control and impact our health. Even more astonishing is Lipton's understanding that our personal belief systems, including our perceptions, have the capacity to trump our genetic inheritance and our cellular DNA. It's possible to influence the infinitesimally small or tiny particles we've come to believe are the ultimate determiners of our lives. That is, when we change the way we think and learn new ways of perceiving, we can actually change our DNA. In other words, you can impact and alter your genetic structure by modifying how you see yourself and your place in this glorious mystery called life. Your perceptions have the power to change your genetic makeup. Your beliefs can and do control your biology. This may sound radical or even impossible, yet it is this awareness that will lead you to say goodbye to the excuses you've unwittingly adopted. I encourage you to immerse yourself in the biology of belief. You'll be inspired to reset your mind to the possibility that your beliefs carry far more weight than you realized in determining what you can do, what you'll undertake, and how far you're capable of going. Let's take a look now at another piece of research that will help you realize what you're capable of achieving. It's called the placebo effect. That the mind controls the body is hardly up for dispute. You've probably heard of documented studies where sugar pills given to a control group believing that they're a remedy for, say, arthritis, turn out to be as effective as a drug being administered for the arthritis. This placebo effect apparently occurs due to a belief in the effectiveness of the pill. But consider how powerful the mind is when it goes beyond administering a sugar pill to the world of surgery. A Baylor School of Medicine study published in 2002 in the New England Journal of Medicine evaluated surgery for patients with severe debilitating knee pain. Mosley et al., 2002. The lead author of the study, Dr. Bruce Mosley, knew that knee surgery helped his patients. All good surgeons know there is no placebo effect in surgery. But Mosley was trying to figure out which part of the surgery was giving his patients relief. The patients in the study were divided into 3 groups. Mosley shaved the damaged cartilage in the knee of one group. For another group, he flushed out the knee joint, removing material thought to be causing the inflammatory effect. Both of these constitute standard treatment for arthritic knee. The third group got fake surgery. The patient was sedated. Mosley made 3 standard incisions and then talked and acted just as he would have during a real surgery. He even splashed salt water to simulate the sound of the knee washing procedure. After 40 minutes, Mosley sewed up the incisions as if he had done the surgery. All 3 groups were prescribed the same post-operative care, which included an exercise program. The results were shocking. Yes, the groups who received surgery, as expected, improved. But the placebo group improved just as much as the other 2 groups. Despite the fact that there are 650,000 surgeries yearly for arthritic knees, at a cost of about $5,000 each, the results were clear to Mosley. My skill as a surgeon had no benefit on these patients. The entire benefit of surgery for osteoarthritis of the knee was the placebo effect. Television news programs graphically illustrated the stunning results. Footage showed members of the placebo group walking and playing basketball, in short, doing things they reported they could not do before their, quote, surgery. The placebo patients didn't find out for 2 years that they had gotten fake surgery. One member of the placebo group, Tim Perez, who had to walk with a cane before the surgery, is now able to play basketball with his grandchildren. He summed up the theme of this book when he told the Discovery Health Channel, "In this world, anything is possible when you put your mind to it. I know that your mind can work miracles." That's from Lipton, The Biology of Belief. I believe that this kind of research offers motivating evidence for making a commitment to the excuses be gone paradigm. Another recent procedure may completely reverse an old medical model. It seems that a man's forefinger was accidentally sliced off at the knuckle, and by altering genetic instructions, a team succeeded in regrowing a new 1/2 inch top to his finger in 4 weeks. Fingers are genetically programmed to stave off infection when an injury like this occurs, so the medical team replaced his sliced off stub with stem cells programmed to grow a finger. The subsequent new growth included a nail, cuticle, and flesh. This man's DNA was overturned by introducing newly programmed instructions. In a variety of studies on severe depression, heart disease, rheumatoid arthritis, ulcers, and even cancer, the power of the mind to overcome these maladies trumps the conventional medical wisdom of treating the cells rather than the environment in which they reside. The new biology is clearly indicating that beliefs, some of which are conscious and most of which are subconscious or habitual, determine our physical and mental health, along with our level of happiness and success. Author James Allen observed, "We do not attract that which we want, but that which we are." I've contemplated this idea for a long time, until recently I accepted the idea that what we are is pretty much formulated by complex genetic input and strands of DNA inherited from our parents and other relatives. But I've changed my mind. My new personal philosophy is that who I am is first and foremost determined by what I believe. And that leads me to consciously focus on the fact that limitations or traits inherited from my ancestors are absolutely not the final word. For me, there is now a surprise tucked into James Allen's quote, "By changing my beliefs, I change who I am." As a result of this shift in my beliefs, I've attracted some new and wondrous features into my life, including being prompted to write this book and share its insights with you. As you work your way through these pages, remember that what you are is what you believe, not what you were handed genetically. If you stay focused on what you are as a set of beliefs, you will align with the same kinds of energy. As you read on, remind yourself that you attract what you are, not what you want. And what you are is your beliefs, not your cells. As the biology of belief establishes, your mental activity is strong enough to overcome material particles and the influences of early conditioning and programming that you unwittingly adopted through your formative years. Wow, that's really quite interesting, isn't it? And remember, I say to you all the time, it's so important to keep an open mind because, I mean, there's so much out there that we don't know, that we don't understand. But we've heard many times of, people that, like a mother that lifted a car because her child was stuck underneath it, that she was given this superhuman power to do it, or maybe a belief she had to do that to save her child or whatever. But I mean, I believe it's so much, our brains are so powerful, our beliefs are so powerful. So it's important to keep an open mind and to keep learning all the time and always, to make your life better. That's what I want for you, to have a great life. I send you my love. Until next week, bye for now.